So now that it's been a couple of days since the Indigo Disc DLC has come out for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, more and more people have started beating it and seeing the credits, and a lot of people are starting to share their opinions on exactly how they feel about the DLC, what they liked about it, what they didn't like that much, and that's what I'm going to be doing with you guys inside of this video, as we're going to focus on the Indigo Disc, but I'm also going to touch upon the Teal Mask as well, and just take a look at Generation 9's DLC overall, and kind of share my thoughts on what I liked about it, and things that I feel like could have been done a little bit better. Now real quick before we get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Bai. Have you ever wanted to buy a really cool piece of video game or anime merch, but found out it's only available in Japan and they don't do international shipping? This is where Bai comes in. Bai lets you buy anything from Japan from places such as Amazon Japan, Mercari, and Rakuma, and then you can have them shipped to Bai's warehouse and they will ship them out to you wherever you are in the world. Right now, Bai is having a special offer where you can click the link in the description below and get 10% off for signing up, so definitely take advantage of it to get something cool for the holidays, and thank you so much to Bai for sponsoring this video. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the content of this DLC, as of course with the Indigo Disc, a lot of people were expecting this to be kind of the more bigger part of the DLC compared to the Teal Mask, and that definitely was the case with this DLC. Like, this definitely has way more content, a lot more stuff for you to do. Just the overall area of like the terrarium is much bigger than what you had in Kitakami, and you definitely have much more that you can explore, and there's a lot of cool things that are a part of this DLC. So of course you've got the 4 Blueberry League members that are a part of the Blueberry Academy, plus the champion battle, and that's like the kind of main adventure of this DLC. But then you've also got that concluding episode that happens in the Area Zero depths, where you, Briar, Kieran, and Carmine go underneath and basically discover the secret with Terapagos and all of that. You've got this giant terrarium to basically explore, and there's 4 different kind of biomes where there's different Pokemon that you can find and explore different areas and find different items and stuff, as well as different trainers that you can battle there. So you've got a huge area to explore there, and then you've got like a customizable league club room where you can get different types of things and add different ways to customize that. And then you've also got a lot of other things as well, like past legendaries that you can encounter and catch and battle all of those. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of content inside of this DLC, and especially if you're trying to do everything, it can definitely take a good like week or so, I would say, to do everything that this DLC has to offer. But now moving into the actual gameplay of the DLC, this is of course the most important part, as it's actually what you're playing, and so the gameplay just boils down to you tackling the 4 Blueberry League trials for the Blueberry League Elite 4 members. So of course you've got the 4 characters with Crispin, Amorous, Lacey, and Drayton, and then of course once you beat all of them, you can unlock the ability to go and challenge the champion, who is Kieran, the most powerful trainer at the Blueberry Academy. And so all of these involve you doing some type of trial, just like in the base game you'd have to do some type of trial so that you can unlock the ability to fight them. I will say I was actually very impressed with the difficulty inside of this DLC. Like, I knew that going into it, like they were saying that it was going to be a little bit more challenging, that they were going to be using more double battles and double battle strategies, but I was not expecting these trainers to actually have competitive items and all of that too. Like, once I saw these characters using Pokemon that had focus sashes and life orbs, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. It honestly really makes me wish that there was some type of difficulty option to have something like this inside of the base game, but it was a very nice challenge and something that I don't really remember Pokemon being as challenging like this since, like, I think the days with like Ultra Necrozma. Like, I think that was the last time that I felt something this challenging in terms of a mainline Pokemon game, so that was very impressive and I was actually very happy. I really do hope that they decide to do more stuff like this in the future in terms of difficulty. And so really after you decide to do those 4 Elite 4 members and the Champion Kieran battle, that is when you unlock the Area Zero Underdepths kind of little episode where you, Carmine, and Kieran go underneath Area Zero even deeper to where you've already been inside of the base game, and that is where you do the stuff with Terapagos, which isn't like really as long as what it takes with like the 4 Elite 4 battles and all of that. Like, that's really kind of the main content of this DLC. The little stuff that you do in Area Zero is honestly like a few hours at most, so it's not really like a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And I was kind of hoping that they would go much more into it, but it does kind of suck that it's kind of still a little bit more surface level. Like, they do some pretty cool stuff with Kieran's character and all of that inside of the Area Zero Underdepths, but you know, if you were like really hoping for a lot of the crazy like answers and stuff to like the whole time travel and Professor Sada and Turo and all the crazy stuff that people were speculating about, it doesn't really go into that, so it does kind of suck in that sense, but it is still very solid and I did have a really good time with it. And then the other gameplay stuff just involves you doing a lot of stuff like finding the past starter Pokemon, which you can find in the terrarium. You can invite past gym leaders as coaches and stuff inside of your league club room. You've of course got all of the past legendaries that you can go and encounter. And you're going to notice that a lot of this stuff in this DLC actually requires you using the brand new currency called BP. And BP does become kind of a little grindy, I would say, in terms of this DLC. Like anything that you want to do in this DLC, if you want to find the starter Pokemon in the wild, if you want to catch the legendary Pokemon, if you want to invite different types of Pokemon gym leaders into your league club room, if you want to do the different types of customizing in terms of your league club room, and all of that requires a ton of BP. Like you just need thousands and thousands of BP. So there is a lot of kind of grinding BP in this, and a lot of it, like if you want to gain BP really fast, really kind of involves you playing online with your friends. So there were some people talking about how like if they don't have Switch Online, or if you don't have like a Switch Online subscription to being able to play online with your friends, it is really kind of hard to kind of just gain these BP points by yourself. So it does kind of suck in that sense, because everything in this DLC is pretty much boiled down to just having a lot of BP. But besides that, the actual gameplay and the adventure, I did have a pretty good time with it. Moving into the graphics don't look anything drastically different from like base game Pokemon Scarlet and Violet or the Teal Mask DLC, so if you were hoping for like a giant improvement, you're not really going to get that. And if I'm being honest, it honestly felt like the frame rate was a little bit worse in this DLC compared to the base game. Like it's just very stuttery, and there's a lot of lag and stuff that you can encounter, and that's really kind of just my main issue with Generation 9 as a whole. Like I think the games are really solid, but there's just so many like little laggy issues and stuttery like glitches and things that you can encounter. And I just feel like if the game was much more polished, it would have been so much better. But they did make some pretty cool graphics changes to like the animations and stuff for some of the new Pokemon that they're adding back. So like Blastoise finally uses Hydro Pump out of its cannons and not just like a weird beam of water that shoots out of its forehead like it was for the past couple of generations. So that's pretty nice. There's even some new swimming animations for Blastoise. So stuff like that is a nice improvement to see. The soundtrack in the Indigo disc actually has a lot of remixes from Unova with Generation 5, so like the Trainer Battle theme, the Wild Battle theme, and some of the area themes even have some really good remixes. And overall, I always thought that Generation 5 had some really solid music, so the remixes are great inside of this DLC, and just overall, I thought that the music was better than the Teal Mask, and I definitely really enjoyed it. And finally, moving into the controls are pretty standard for a Pokemon game. You've got the A button to select, the B button to move back, and the joystick to move around, so it's pretty standard. You do unlock the ability to fly on Koraidon and Miraidon, and I will say the controls for that were a little bit kind of wonky to figure out how to go up and down, but after a little bit of kind of playing around with it, you do get used to it. But besides that, I don't really have anything else to say about the controls. And so yeah, overall, I thought that the Indigo Disc DLC was really solid for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's not like the best thing I've ever played, but I definitely think that it was pretty good, and definitely a step up from the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra with Pokemon Sword and Shields DLC. So yeah, overall, I had a pretty good time with it, and I don't really have too many complaints outside of like the performance issues and all of that. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button, and also subscribe to the channel as well, as I'm going to be having more Pokemon videos in the future. So definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about all of this as well. How do you guys feel about the Indigo Disc DLC? What did you like about it? What did you not like? How would you guys rate it? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.